Hey, welcome back to the channel, folks. So today I have something here that I didn't buy. This is something that a friend of mine bought, and he's gone away on a little vacation. He said he just opened up the package to check and make sure that everything was okay and that it came with everything. So he couldn't tell me anything about it at all. So what this is an OWON benchtop meter. It is a XDM2041. I always laugh when I see OWON. It always reminds me of Throw Mama from the Train. So let's take a look at it here. I figure this is going to take a couple of days, so we'll have two videos out of this, I think. Let's let's unbox the thing, see what we got in here. Here's the unit itself. Comes well packaged. Now, he got this off of AliExpress, and I'll leave a link to the site that he got it from down below. Okay, here are the accessories that it comes with. We've got a RS-232 serial cable, female to female. We've got a pair of big alligator clips here, which I guess would fit onto the probes. And a power cable. And a quick start manual with a disc. Some warranty information. Yeah, quick start guide. And CD-ROM, and a couple of spare fuses. That's really nice that they include a couple of spare fuses. You will notice that none of them are really high voltage fuses. This one is a ceramic, and this one is the 10 amp fuse, and this one is the 1 amp fuse. So it has the two fuses. Okay, so all that's very nice. We'll deal with software if I can get it working in the next video. Now let's see what these probes are like. You know, they're not bad. It's PVC, it's rated at 1000 volts and 105 degrees C. So pretty standard fare. So they will go on there and then screw into place. Yeah, that's what they do. Well, it certainly looks the part of a nice benchtop multimeter, doesn't it? 55,000 counts. This looks like it's fairly well laid out. We'll have to get into it, of course, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to get into the user interface. I'm going to have a very close look at that to see what it's like. But you know, it does feature some things here. It's got a nice big display. We'll have to see what that looks like. I'm not going to pull this off it because it's not mine. I'll let him do that. It's got 4-wire ohms mode, which is really nice to have. Oh, look at this. Now, this is a great feature. It's got a front panel accessible 10 amp fuse. Very nice indeed. Nice big clunking power switch. It's not a soft switch, which is nice. You got your different parameters down here: voltage, current, ohms, conductivity, diode, capacitor, frequency, and temperature. You know what? I don't see any little sticker that we could break by having a look inside. So why don't we start off by doing that? That seems very nicely put together. I mean, the attention to detail is quite good. Let's have a poke around in here. It's very much an empty box. Looks like here there could be a fan mounted onto it, and there is yeah, there's a grill over on this side too. So I don't think this one would ever need a fan, but just by looking at the size of the power supply there, it doesn't look like it's very big. And let's see, we have here the 5 volts coming off here to the analog board, and 5 volts going off here to the digital board up front. This communications board here, it's got the RS-232 interface on it. It also looks like it's got a pattern here for USB, which they don't seem to have implemented. But I do like all the nice ribbon cables, nice connectors. the style that can be undone fairly easily. Let me go look up all these major components here, and I'll come back and I'll point them out to you. Okay, this here is a DC to DC converter, converts to 5 volts to 12 volts. And this here is a 4-line isolation IC. So for the control lines going up to the digital board, they put in some isolation. They've also put in cutouts here on the board to prevent spark over. This thing here is an HY3131 50,000 count DMM analog front end. This thing here is a solid state relay. You've got 2 other smaller relays and a really big one here. This here is a bridge rectifier. And that's really all that's on this board here. If you wanted to reduce any noise coming in this supply here, you could replace this with a linear supply. You've got lots of room in here to put in a decent linear supply. I took this front panel off, but it's kind of precarious with everything, all the leads. So what I did is I took a picture of it. So you can see that in here there's a TPT3232E, which is a RS-232 transceiver, and you have a GDF32F, which is a 32-bit ARM Cortex processor. They do have on the back here they have a ground connection, but it just goes to the chassis. What I would like to have seen is that come down here and join this one here at a single point. Well, that's basically it. There's not a lot in here. But the real interesting thing for me is the fact that this power supply is imminently replaceable, which is something that I would be very tempted to do. All right, let me get this back together and I'll come right back. Alrighty, so we have it all hooked up to power here, and I've got it up on blocks, so to speak, to be able to show you the front side of it here as we go through it. Let's turn it on. I hope I got it back together right. Seems to be booting up. Wow, that was fast. All right, seems to come up in volts DC. Let's try one thing here. Let's put it to amps, and then we'll turn it off and see if it comes back up in amps. It seems to first pop up in ohms and then switch over to volts DC. So it doesn't remember the last mode you used it in. Anyway, it not remembering the mode that's in is fine. My Siglet is the same way. Okay, so what do we have here? We have our different functions along the bottom. So here we are in volts, grams DC, grams AC, back to DC, ohms, continuity, and you got diode. And you can turn the beeper on or off. And there's something else I saw there. If we go into continuity here, we can see that it has a threshold. You can actually change that threshold to be whatever you want. You don't necessarily want 50 ohms. You might want something a lot lower than that if you wanted to be able to measure to see if there's actually real short. You might want it down around about 1 ohm or so. You can even set it to 0. Very nice. Okay, what are the other options? Let's say in resistance. All right, we have range. So we've got 500, 5K, 50K, 500K, 5 meg, and 50 meg. And auto, of course, so little auto range. And speed, low, mid. So I guess this is a sampling speed. I would imagine that the accuracy would go down as the speed goes up. And as far as the triggering goes, you can use the run stop to stop the triggering. And 2-wire or 4-wire. Very nice. So let's also look at currents. What do we have? We have auto range. We have manual ranges. Same set of 6 ranges up to 10 amps from 500 microamps. Now in AC, the ranges look like they're the same. In volts, ranges go from 50 millivolts up to 1,000 volts. Finger trouble there. 50 millivolts up to 750 volts. So it goes a little bit lower on the voltage for AC, and that's typical as well. All right, let's see what we got here. We go over to capacitance. We just got range, and the ranges are from 50 nanofarads up to 50 millifarads. Pretty big capacitor. And frequency, what we have here, we can measure frequency or period. And we have rel. Is that rel available to us in all of them? Yes, it is. That's nice to have too. And temperature. It's got a built-in thermistor, so that's pretty good, because then what it can do is if you put an external one on, it does a comparison, gets a baseline from the internal one. This here, by comparison, if you switch it over to temp, So there's no built-in thermistor or thermocouple in order to give you a baseline reading when comparing it to a plugged-in one here. So it'll give you the temperature or it'll give you the millivolts DC coming off it. That's nice too. And you can change the units from Fahrenheit, Kelvin to centigrade, or Celsius as a lot of us say. And you have the relative functions in there as well. All right, so a full set of ranges on it. That's quite good. The form factor of this I really like too. It's the same size as my Siglent units, and it would fit nicely on a bench, and you can stack on top of it. So a lot of the other meters out there, like this one's little brother, the XDM1041, it's the same size face on it, maybe just a tiny little bit smaller, but it's got this kind of blocky thing to it, and it's either the top item on your stack or you don't stack on it at all because you can't. And the tilting bail is really nice too. It snaps into place in either position. All right, let's have a look at these buttons up here. You can save some values by just pressing that a few times. To look at what you saved, you go in. So here we saved a couple of temperatures, saved a couple of current readings. You can save up to 1,000 different readings. Now it does say here that you can export that to a computer via the RS-232 port. We won't worry about that until we get to the second part of this, where we're going to go through it and look at the accuracy and hook it up to a computer. Now it's also got auto record, and what you can do is you can set the number of points that you want to record, maximum of 1,000 of course, and you can set the interval. So that interval there is in seconds. So you want to record a value every second, every 2,000 seconds, every 15 milliseconds I guess is the fastest. And then you would just type start and let it record these values, click end, and then you can see it just recorded all those values in there. And this you clear it by pressing this key here, and that clears out all the values from that table. Let's have a look at what this math capability is. Okay, so it's not really math. We have max or min, and you can turn that on or off. So it gives you that information down here in a kind of quadruple display mode there. So you get the maximum value, the minimum value, and the average value. That's very nice. You can clear that out. You can let it re-accumulate, turn it off, go back, and then we have dB and dBm. So let's go into voltage. We'll go into AC volts, and we'll go math. And yes, so now we have dB and dBm. So we can turn it on. We can set the function dB or dBm, and we can set the impedance at which the dBm calculation is taken against. So that's pretty interesting. Utility. This is your basic utility menu for setting things up. So we see it's an XDM2041. We're at version 3.10 of the firmware. I don't see any way of updating the firmware unless it can be done through the software. We'll have to see that. There's no USB port on this, which I think is a bit of a downside. It'd be nice to have a USB port to be able to copy your records off, to do firmware updates, and maybe even hook it up to your computer. But it's just got that serial port. Now all that could be done through the serial port. Whether or not they've implemented in the software or not is a different thing entirely. And we got a serial number and checksum, so we can change the brightness of the display. 100% suits my old eyes. We got a clock. The date is correct on it. We set the time. You can set the hours, minutes, and seconds. And we can set the machine back to defaults. It should ask you, it should come up and say yes or no, but it just sets things back to their defaults. That's fine. It works. Port. So port will allow you to set up your serial port. I can't see why you'd want to change the baud rate unless you had a really old computer that couldn't handle 115.2. Parity none, stop bits 1, data bits 8, all pretty standard stuff. Let's go over here to pulse AC and dual frequency. So it can give you the frequency as well as you're measuring your AC. You can either press that to exit, or you can press that to exit. I don't know why they gave you an extra switch for it there. Okay, so this looks very promising so far. I really do like the form factor. I like the way it looks. I like this big display. I don't know how well it's coming up to you guys here, but it's a really nice display, and it'll look a hell of a lot better without this thing on it. The features I've seen so far: 4-wire ohms, the 55,000 counts, the ranges available to you, the functions available to you are all quite excellent, and the user interface is dead easy to find your way around. I only had to check the manual for 1 or 2 things. Everything else was just obvious. And I do like the fact that it boots up really quick. Dual display feature is nice. The internal temperature reading is nice too for that baseline. Also like the construction. It is extremely well made. So that's what we've seen so far. And they're the things that I really like about it. And the rest of it we'll check out in the next video when we go through all the ranges, check its accuracy. I don't know what I'm going to check it against, whether I should check it against my 5.5 digit Siglent meter, or should I check it against like the 4.5 digit handheld Bryman. Well, you leave a note down in the comments down there, letting me know what you'd like to see me check it against. I think it probably better suited to check it against the Bryman, based on them both being 4.5 digit meters. All right, folks, that's it for today. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you in the next video, which will be about this, because I've got to get this back to my buddy for next week. So catch you in the next video. Bye bye.